Welcome, welcome to another relaxing video. Today we're diving into something a little different, something special. We're playing Blade Runner. Yeah, I had to descend deep into the vault for this one. This is a classic point-and-click adventure game from 1997. And what you see here is actually the enhanced version that came out a few years ago. It cleans up a bit the visuals, so there's less pixelation, less grain. The results are whatever, not great, but it does the job, sort of. So why this game, you might wonder? Well, partly because I've always loved it. I love the film it is based on. And last but not least, it was requested by a viewer. So I said, let's do it. But before we jump in, I want to take a moment, maybe more than just a moment, to talk about the Blade Runner universe. And if you're not that interested in hearing me rambling about this, you can skip ahead to when I start playing, and hopefully I will remember to put the timestamps. So, I mentioned already the game is based on the film Blade Runner that it was released in 1982. Yeah, 1982. Welcome sadness, my old friend. Well, if you haven't seen the movie, no worries, you don't need to in order to enjoy the game. But I still recommend watching it. Not just because it's a classic, but because it shaped the entire visual language of the cyberpunk scene and the cyberpunk genre. So cyberpunk already existed as a genre in books since the 70s, I think, but Blade Runner gave it a look, a mood, a vibe, if you want, and everything since has borrowed from the film in some way. Now, the game itself isn't a prequel or a sequel. It actually takes place at the same time as the movie, but it follows a different story. So if you've seen the film and then you play the game, it's even better, because you probably get goosebumps every couple of minutes. And also there are brief intersections between the two stories, but nothing that spoils the film actually. Now, let's talk about a bit the setting, because it's quite complex. So we're in Los Angeles. The year is 2019, so 6 years ago. Actually, it's actually in the future. So, or rather, it's the future as it was imagined when the film was released in 1982. And it's a dystopian future. There's been a war, there's pollution, radiation everywhere. Most animals have gone extinct, and the ones you see around are very likely artificial. The few real animals are rare and very expensive, so they're only for the rich. And of course, there's a big divide between the wealthy and the poor. At the same time, though, humanity has expanded beyond Earth, setting up off-world colonies. But working in an off-world mine is almost impossible for humans. So androids, robots, were created, and they are called replicants. So these replicants are made by a mega corporation called Tyrell, so the Tyrell Corporation, and their most advanced models are the Nexus series, and specifically the Nexus 6. And these replicants are made of flesh and blood, not metal, and they're almost indistinguishable from real humans. But they are stronger, faster, resistant to radiation, heat, cold, and some are even more intelligent, or at least as intelligent as the engineers who built them. After a violent mutiny by a Nexus 6 combat unit, replicants were forbidden to enter Earth. If they do, they will be retired, and that's a polite way to say that they will be killed on the spot, basically. And that's where the Blade Runners come in. So they are special police units trained to find and retire rogue replicants. But if they retire a human by mistake, their career is over. Now, one last thing before we begin. So this game, and just like in the film, isn't about clear answers. It's not all black and white. There's lots of gray areas. What makes someone human? Is it biology, memory, emotion? Can something artificial have a soul, etc.? These are the questions we'll be facing as we play the game. Anyway, it was a long introduction, but I think it was due since the complexity of the material this game is based on. And now, let's play. So, here we are. So what happened here? So the protagonist is this guy. It's Ray McCoy. And he's a rookie Blade Runner. So first assignment, nothing important so far, no big cases, actually nothing. And then all of a sudden, since all the other Blade Runners are busy, he's got this animal murder case. So at this place, Rancitas, that sells live animals, so something very rare because, as I said, most of the animals have gone extinct. Someone has entered, killed all the animals. So from the initial cutscene, we see, well, first of all, we kind of understand that the owner, Ranciter, is a dirty old man, basically. Because one of the employees, well, he's got one employee, a young girl called Lucy, and we kind of understand that he kind of pretends some other things from her beyond just attending to the animals. But then we see two mysterious men enter, and there's an altercation with Ranciter, and then all the animals end up dead. And we have to investigate this brutal crime that is brutal in general, but even more in Blade Runner because, as I said, animals, real animals, are rare. So let's see what we can find. So it's a classic point and click. And so you click, you go, you collect evidence and piece things together. So Ranciter is still alive, so they just killed the animals, not the owner. So okay, so we know already there are two suspects. Well, we know from the cutscene, but of course, Ray McCoy doesn't know. Okay, let's ask the officer to ask the public if they've seen anything. And I found a piece of chrome from a car. Oops, yeah, then I clicked on my character, so then you start opening the Kia computer, and here you get all the clues, so the chrome debris, and then you can listen again to all the statements and various pieces of evidence you find. So there's scratch of paint on the fire hydrant. Yeah, this game, so it's actually a very good game in general, but the pixel hunting was a nightmare back then, and it's a nightmare even more now. So these two men, one seemed kind of limping. So actually I can switch to the original graphics. I found out that, so this is the original graphics, which is kind of ugly for now, for nowadays. This is the upscaled one, which is not a bit better, but So he thinks that Lucy was involved. So he's accusing his employee. Okay, let's ask more questions. So because they've been replicants. Yes, so the thing with the replicants is kind of we learn very quickly, and also in the film as well, that they tend to kill living beings. Yeah, he hasn't got nice words for Lucy. Okay, we learned that Lucy was usually eating over here, so now, yeah, the only thing they did well in this enhanced version was to kind of make the things that I can click on to collect easy to see, sort of. So now we collected a piece of I think one of those containers for chopsticks. So we know she got some food from Aoi Lee in Chinatown. Candy bar and monkey posters. Okay. Now, there are a couple of things we can get. So we got those clues. Then there's a camera here. And so there's also an element of the game and kind of in the film as well. So you get photographs, and then you can scan the photographs for clues. You know, getting clues could be the picture of a suspect or some other element. Then you can use to continue the investigation. So we got the disc, so we can get some references. Okay, we can get the reference from the merchant that was, actually that recommended Lucy as an employee. And also, by the way, another technical aspect of the game. So I asked questions just by clicking, because basically there's this thing here. So player personality. So you can decide to be polite, normal, surely, erratic, or user choice. So with user choice, when you click on a character, you get multiple choices of what to ask. And with the other profiles, you ask questions automatically. The thing is, in various circumstances, if you ask certain questions, the NPC react. So if you ask good or polite questions or neutral questions, they might react in a certain way. If you're being rude or pushy a bit with the questions, they react in a different way. And then depending how they react, then the story unfolds in different ways. Because one thing with this game is that depending what you do, the action you take, and who you decide to question and to accuse to be a replicant, and maybe they are replicants, and so then you have to decide if you want to retire them or not. Well, that shapes the whole story. So, and you can decide to retire replicants or maybe not. The only thing you don't have to do is to retire a human by mistake, because if you do that, it's game over. Literally, you end up in prison and it's game over. So one interesting thing, so we're at the police station, so now we're going to the mainframe. Oh, actually, yes, we're going, so first, this is the laboratory. Dino. So he's performing the autopsy on the animals, and we discovered that actually not all the animals were real. Some were synthetic. So you might have a deal on the side with some producers of synthetic animals. So that's a line of inquiry that we have to pursue, or we can pursue. Anything else? Black paint, okay. So very quick analysis. Okay, so it's a black car, 1995 Pontiac. Okay, so we have to find a black car. Anything else? Okay, we got everything. So we know it's a black car and it's a ground car, because we have seen already there are flying cars in Blade Runner. Yeah, flying cars. So we activate the Esper. So now this will download the pictures from the video disc. Oh, so fancy and so modern. So now we have the pictures of the crime scene. So there are only 2 pictures. And now we can scan. So this is actually, this thing of the scanning is very close, identical to what happens in the film. The only difference is that here I'm using a mouse, but in the film it's voice activated. So okay, now I know already where to look, but then you can highlight a section and it will pan and scan, make it bigger. There's a limit, you can't zoom in too much. So for example, this is the maximum. But I know here we have someone. So if we highlight the correct area, we can get a better view. Now this is wrong, so let me see if I do it correctly now. Because when you get the right clue, that's what happens. For some reason, you get a 3D view from a 2D picture. But anyway, so we have a face. That's Lucy. Now, if we highlight here, that's her desk. And yes, I did it already. No, it's not correct. Oh yes, sushi menu from Awili. So, for example, this is also interesting. I got the same information in 2 different ways. So I was able to pick up the piece of paper from the ground, from the floor, that says Howie Lee. So that's my hint to visit Howie Lee in Chinatown. Or if I missed that, but I got this, then I get the same clue. So there are multiple ways to arrive at the same conclusion, but to get the same kind of information. Now, the obvious thing is to highlight the face of this guy, and here we go. We get the face of the guy, our first suspect. All right, give me a hard copy of that. And again, if you've seen the film, give me a hard copy of that. Is well, it's in the film. Now we get a better look from at the car. Now, and again, we get the clue about the black car from here, or as I did before, if you click and pick up the piece of metal, and then you look at the fire hydrant with and there's black paint on the fire hydrant. So there are different ways. There are different ways to skin a cat, basically. Okay, so we did everything we needed here. So we can get on our flying car and go to Chinatown. And so yeah, you can move around. So for now we have only, so this is my apartment, police station, transitor, but then of course you will be able to visit more locations. And these visuals are directly from the film, basically. So, and this location also is in the film. That's why well, if you watched and listened to the intro, most of the visuals are basically exact replicas from the film. So it's yeah, it's something. Now, so we have well, let's talk with this guy. Okay, let's talk with Howie. Or maybe this guy. All right. Okay. So we know one of the guys is quite a big guy, so that one looks suspect. So we ask about the clue we found at Ransiter. So we show the picture of Lucy. He doesn't know Lucy. So there's nothing from this guy. But then we can go ask maybe a couple of questions to the big guy. Gordo. Now, I better save in this moment because we're about to do something that I can, well, it might not work. And it's because of the announced version. So let's talk about, well, something. Let's talk with this guy. Airbag. Yeah, we're showing Lucy's photo. Okay. Okay, maybe you've seen the girl. Maybe not. It's very vague and evasive. Okay, we know this guy is involved, and here we go. Okay, I couldn't get control of the guy. Okay, I'll do this again because it works better if I don't mess it up. So let me do it again, and I will probably cut the video. Okay, now it worked much better, so I was able to dodge the cauldron, because yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. Well, no, not actually. It works also when you can't dodge the cauldron, but it works better if you do. So then you follow the guy, you go inside here, and what is he and what is not? And here it is. And yeah, we kill the guy. Now, we kind of had the intuition and he was a replicant. So we had a suspicion that this guy was somehow involved in the crime. And he's a replicant, so we retired the replicant. We couldn't do the void camp test. That's a test we can do to identify if ooh, this guy again. Yeah, he took the wrong turn. Why are you here? The suspicious activity. Who's this guy? So, yeah, basically, the scene works better if you can dodge the cauldron and then follow the guy. There's also the variant where you can't do that and you lose the guy, you come here, he's not here. But then you meet him again and you kill him. The thing is, I could have not killed him. I could have holstered my gun, because you can put it away, and then it would have walked. That would have created some consequences further down the line in the story. I won't spoil any specifics, but at that point I could have made a decision not to retire a replicant, but I did it. And so, in doing so, I've already, well, basically, I can't get a certain type of ending for this game. So this game has got already, not spoiled, but basically, depending how you play, you can get 12 different types of endings. And by retiring that NPC, I've already excluded certain types of endings. But then you play again and you don't retire the replicant, and then you get the possibility to get those endings. So let's move on actually with the story. So now we meet Gaff. So this is a character that is present also in the film and has got the same weird kind of dark vibe, always kind of following you, watching you, checking on you. So now he's telling us that there was a moon bus that was hijacked, and then some replicants arrived on Earth in the Kipple, and that's a toxic area at the margins of the city. So that's an information. Maybe that replicant was part of the Moonbus crew that arrived some days ago or a month ago. But we retired the replicant, so it's fine. We didn't do anything wrong. We didn't use the void camp test, but we used the magic, as it's called, this intuition that we have, that all the Blade Runners have and develop over time, so they can tell without the test that a person is a replicant or a human. Not always works, but in this case it worked. So that's how that was our first investigation. It's not over. We caught one replicant, not the other one, but we can't do much else for today. It was a good day, in a sense. So let's go back to our apartment and end the day for now. Yeah. And in our apartment, we have a dog. We have a doggy. A real dog, by the way. And the dog was eagerly waiting for us to come back. You can pet the dog. Well, you haven't got the animation, but you can praise the doggy. Okay. So, oh, there we go. I knew there was something. We can feed the dog. Okay, let's go to our room. And then we have this little sequence here where McCoy thinks about what happened. Zubin is the name of the replicant. His first. So he's having a bit of a afterthought. So he retired a replicant, but he could see in the eyes of this replicant that he was longing for life, for something. The Nexus 6 series of replicants is different from 4 and 5. 4 and 5 they were more like robots. These are kind of human almost. And by the way, also this kind of a scene is also in the film, so chills. Okay, let's end the day. And see how the story continues. So now we have another cutscene. And there's a delivery for this guy that is floating. Kingston Kitchen. That would be cool to have a room like that. So he's running a simulation to study the effects of low gravity, and the experiment is over, and he's got a couple of dogs as well, or rats, as this delivery. Oh, that was dangerous, really dangerous. So special delivery for this guy. We're going to witness something. How about Nexus 6? Yeah, so this guy is not just a delivery guy. Well, it is not a delivery guy. He's not your average Uber Eats. So he needs information. He needs information, DNA information. And of course, he's a replicant, because no human can do that. And he's got explosive. So he's looking for DNA information. And this guy hasn't got anything. Tyrell, the owner, CEO of the company, knows that. Or maybe the organ designers, Moraji, Chu, Luther, and Lance. And they all work in DNA row. Now, another element of all this is that the replicants are human but not human, they're artificial, and they are created. Now, since they're very strong and capable, more agile than humans, etc., a fail-safe has been built in their DNA, in their organs. They have a limited lifespan. So they only live a few years, 4 or 5 years, and that's coded in their DNA. Now, the Nexus 6 know that, and they want the DNA information to reverse that process because they want to live longer. So that's why this guy was looking for DNA information. Let me say just a second. Because they know they're about to die. They have a limited lifespan, but they want more. They feel it as a waste of their lives. So, and besides, if it's not clear, these replicants are already created as we see them, so it's not that they are born like humans. They've been created already as 30-year-old man or a 25-year-old woman or 25-year-old man, etc. So they're already adult. Maybe not Lucy. And so they haven't got really a past. And that's also part of the of the whole story, so I have to go to Tyrell building because they haven't got a past, but they've been given a past to kind of compensate the emotional imbalance for not having a past. So memories are injected in their brain, so they think, or they have memories of themselves of being a child or a teenager, but they're not real. So it's very complicated and nuanced. So Dr. Eisendoller is the big guy that was killed in the end. So we got a disc from the guard because, yes. So there are a couple of things here we can pick up. So there's dragonfly here, an earring. So Animoid Row is where they sell this kind of jewelry. Yes, then, by the way, the Nexus 6, the androids are created with a specific purpose. So some android is created to be very strong because it has to work in the mines. Another one is created as an entertainment unit, as a comedian, as for this one that we saw, the brochure that we picked up. Some other Nexus 6 are created as pleasure models, etc. So now, yeah, so someone tried to hack the computer, but he didn't have the password. But he couldn't get in, so let's enter the Grav room, and yeah, the guy used the he used the detonator and the bomb. So these are, so maybe you can't see, but these are the dogs. These are the dogs. Kill the dogs. Yeah, kill the dogs. Poor dogs. Poor dogs. Now we can pick up a couple of things. A dog collar with a Ricky written on it. Is the delivery takeout box from Kingston Kitchens. And this is poor Dr. Eisendoller. Yeah, it's been detonator, okay. Yeah, exactly. So the killer could have shot him, but then he decided to stick the bomb somewhere and just blasted the guy. Yeah, these replicants are quite a piece of work. Now, if we click again, now we picked up the collar, Ricky was written on it, and that's the password. Don't use the password, so easy passwords. So I got some DNA information actually from this computer. So DNA, Marcus Eisendoller. So yeah, so here you have everything. So you have the suspects. First suspect, second suspect, the one that I retired. Now you have Lucy. Now we have this suspect. We haven't got the picture, but we will get the picture in a second. And you can see the relation. Oh, Steele. So that's a colleague of ours. She's not another Blade Runner. And she's following her own investigation, so she's here not... yeah. So yeah, her case and my case could be overlapping. And so she's telling us that the details of her investigation are in the Esper mainframe at the police station. So actually we can go to the police station, and we will go. and download her data and also upload our data, and then we can have a look at the picture from the crime scene, from the latest one. So we get the picture of the suspect as per room. So we do this. So the picture first. Kaya. Okay, here we go. So here's the guy, obvious thing. Let's have a picture of his face. There we go. So, yeah. So again, we get the picture of the guy, but also we notice the hearing and his dragonfly, and again we get the hint to investigate in Animoid Road. Row. So again, we get the same clue from two different sources, and for example from this picture we get the same thing, the name on the collar, Ricky, but we got the collar from the crime scene anyway. So you can miss a clue somewhere, but you can get it from somewhere else. It's not 100% of the time like that. In these cases, especially in the beginning, it's like that. Later on, if you miss something, you miss something. So that's the detonator. And there's one more, and that's the Kingston kitchen, but we know that already. Just to confirm. Okay. So we got everything. Now we can we can upload our information. We can download. Okay. So now if I look at the clue database, so these are all hours, but so dog collar, so same clue. So here it is, Gregorian interview A. So this is the case our colleague is working on. So she caught and arrested this Gregorian, that he's a human but is a sympathizer of replicants, and he kind of wants same equal rights for replicants. So yeah, here's a bit of a clue. So he was at a demonstration. Then this demonstration turned a bit violent. But in that violence, or in that demonstration anyway, there was a Rasta guy that was talking to a Japanese guy called Izo. So her case and my case can be overlapping. Now, we can go to the basement to meet this Gregorian. And let's see if we can have a look and have a chat with this guy. Gregorian, yeah. So he was protesting at Tyrell plant. Yeah, so there was a Rasta and an Asian guy with glasses, with sunglasses. So there was an explosion, but he's not. It seems that he didn't do it. So this guy is a replicant sympathizers says replicants are not killers, they just want to be free and left alone. So basically there was this demonstration that turned violent. He's a suspect, but yeah, they haven't got anything on him. But if we put things together, we know that Animoid Row, there was an explosion at this demonstration, and there was an explosion at in the office. So, and there was this Rasta guy. So, he's the same guy. So let's talk about, insects. So this one is sunning fish. Yeah. Okay. So who's sunning insects? And it's difficult to miss, but there's a big sign here. So this one is sunning insects. Scorpions. So she's sunning scorpions as well. So do you know anything about this butterfly? No, butterfly, it's a dragonfly. So she's saying that this dragonfly is part of a collection. So there must be more pieces around. Okay, I will get this information where or who actually bought the dragonfly and the whole set, because there are more pieces, not only earrings. But we will get that information later. Now, we can talk to this guy, Hassan, that sells snakes. And if you watch the film, he's got a bigger role, not a bigger role, no, not a bigger role, but he's part of the film. And by the way, I haven't mentioned, but in the film, the protagonist is Harrison Ford. So, not just any actor. So let's go around this Animoid row. So now this guy sells bullets. It's not essential, but we can go in, have a chat with this guy. And we can be friendly with him. And he will give us extra bullets for free. So you have the normal standard bullets. But he can, if we are nice, if we are nice with him, and we are going to be, he's going to give us some bullets, not infinite, not an infinite amount, but good enough for what we're doing. And actually, these are the bullets. We got 24. It's more than enough, unless we start shooting randomly. Okay, now we can, Kingston Kitchen. Mama Isabella. She knows as $1 because he buys always from her or very frequently. But she's saying that he's not paying, so she didn't deliver anything recently. We showed the picture, but she doesn't know the man. So we're not getting anything from this lady. So nothing here, nothing to see. We can have a chat with this guy or lady, don't know. He's a guy. He only sells booze. Now, we're missing something. So each character in each area has got a bit of they kind of move around, so sometimes you don't see someone, but then it appears. The thing is, if you don't know, okay, I'm waiting for a guy to appear here. I don't remember. Let me see. And sometimes they appear if you have done the right moves. Sometimes it's just a matter of going back, so going away and then coming back. Okay, maybe let's go somewhere else first. I think I can do a couple of things. So Round Center is there. Chinatown, there's no need to go back there. Yeah, let me go back to Tyrell. Now, I could... So I'm asking this guy, so let's see if I can ask a couple of questions. Yeah. So he doesn't know anything about the earring, but we know already there is the suspect that has those earrings. Yeah, so now I'm asking if I can have an appointment with Tyrell, but yeah, I can't do anything. So I have to find a way to speak with Tyrell. Okay. So I have to find a way to to see Tyrell, and there is a very simple way. Ask my boss. If everything is fine, he should be in his office. If you double click, you run, but if you keep clicking, you run even faster. Oh no, it's not here. Okay. But I found a piece of paper. Interesting. Is so this piece of paper. Not this one. Where is it? Another form for weapons. Okay. Might be interesting. Might be something relevant or not. It was on the desk of my boss. Okay, let's go here. So the shooting range, actually, you can go around the shooting range, But let's talk about firearms with this guy. So Guza is the boss. Okay. Let's ask about this shipment. Okay, it was a lot of... So these weapons came in, they cost a lot. Okay, might be nothing, might be something. Okay, let me see. Where's this guy? If the guy that I'm looking for is there. Oh, okay. Now he's there. Let me save. Okay, let's touch it with this guy. So we don't really see this, but this guy is Japanese, like the guy that was at that demonstration where there was an explosion. Where did you go? Oh, that's fun. Yeah, so this game is quite interesting because the characters have their own mind, in a sense. So they kind of react. As I mentioned already, they react to your questions if you ask some things instead of others. And they may turn violent if you upset them, but they can also go away in the middle of a conversation. Really. And to be honest, you can play this game 4 or 5 times in a row and you might see different behaviors every time. And it's that kind of game. So you might really miss. Oh, yes. Okay, let's try again. Okay. Izon. Okay, do you deal with that jewelry, dragonfly-shaped jewelry? Okay, you might know something, you might not know. Okay, we're asking about Gregorian, because I know... Oh, we know that he knows him. Okay, now we're accusing him of being a bit violent. Okay, he's threatening us. Okay, he's trying to sell us a camera now. Okay. And he hasn't blinded us. Okay. We have to follow him. Come on. Secret lab. Secret stash. Loads of guns. Okay, he's gone. He was clever. So this guy was supplying firearms to the replicants. Okay, now if we go through here, we can't go anywhere already. Just to show, yeah, we can't go here. There's a gap. But actually, we can exit here. And it's the right move because here's Izo. He's got a katana and we have to be kind of careful because we could die. And I haven't saved. Oops. Okay. So this one. Okay, so Izo was part of the investigation Steele was conducting and we were in the middle, so she was about to kill him, very likely retire him because he's a replicant. But we were in the middle. We were in front of Izo when she tried to shoot. And so she couldn't. So we inadvertently saved Izo from retirement. Now, this scene here can play a bit differently, and it's always it's not random, but it's random how to actually make it work differently. So in this case, without really trying, I stepped between Izo and Steele so she couldn't shoot. But there were other playthroughs where I don't know how I moved away so she could kill Izo. She could take the shot and kill Izo, retire Izo. So there are all these little variations in the story, small moves, small decisions, then that shape the story in different ways. So now Izo is alive and has not been retired. I haven't even, as I said, I haven't even tried to save Izo. Actually, I was trying to take out the gun and see if I could shoot Izo. I haven't tried that. So by doing that, probably I moved in the way, in the line of fire from Steele. Anyway, so okay, so what did we do? Nothing, actually. We saved Izo for some reason. They was about to kill us. Actually, no. Wait a second. I'm missing something. The camera. And yeah, there are two pictures in the camera. So we didn't get much out of this. Yes, so it was mentioned already. So there are many subcontractors that create the various parts of the replicants, the eyes, the skin, and whatever. And they all work in DNA row. So that's the next place we're going to visit. But actually first I would like to have a look at the pictures that were in the camera that Izo used. But I think as first approach with Blade Runner, I think we covered already quite a bit of story. So let me save, and I think we will continue from this save for next time. And the game is quite complex, as I mentioned. You can make mistakes, you can do things, and you even, well, the first time you play, for sure, you don't even know that you made a move, but you could have done a different move, and that will have consequences further down the line, and how the story develops, who lives, who dies, etc. So we will discover the various bits as we continue playing, and of course, if you want to see the whole story. But for now, I think we can close the video here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this initial playthrough of Blade Runner. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, I'd like to thank all my Ko-fi supporters, and if you want to support me as well, the link to my page is in the description. And until next time, take care and stay relaxed. Bye bye.